or even dance through the entirety of Brandy, You're a Fine Girl. A year and a half later, I began to realize that we were destined. It was a sharp turn, from seeing him as a big, scary-looking stranger to appreciating the gentle but powerful forward on the basketball team. My financial aid job was as a 12-hour-per-week assistant to the basketball coach, and one of Chris's jobs was to help the team win. I started always keeping an eye out for him, even while we dated other people. I don't remember the exact moment that translated to, "Do you want to go on a date?" in January of 1976. I do remember the fun we had on that first date, the easiness of the drive from Hamilton, New York, to Auburn along Route 20 to go visit an admired assistant coach who had moved on. It was as we were approaching a major hill that he delivered a bombshell I recall to this day. Guess what they're saying is bad for you? No idea. What? Sugar. No way. Yep, the life-altering moments that stick with you. There was never a proposal in the classic sense. As a matter of fact, I was pretty much the one who proposed in a letter written on purple stationery with pink and white flowers at the top. I must have been choosing my words carefully if I looked at the letter long enough to have the design seared into my memory. The pertinent paragraph started along the lines of, "So do you think we should get married?" It was the summer before my senior year. I was doing my summer term, and he was a counselor at a camp in the Berkshires before coming back to be a graduate assistant coach for the basketball team. We were both 21. In other words, the old days. Skipping a lot of our dating experience and scooting right back to our friend Luck, I offer the reasons why, at such a tender age, I thought we could make a good couple for the long haul. 1. I liked him. 2. I liked his big family. We had similar Catholic, lower-middle-class backgrounds. 3. He was an athlete. A huge factor since my entire childhood was marinated in Boston Red Sox baseball and Providence College Friars basketball fandom. 4. He treated his mother with respect. 5. He was funny. 6. He was smart. 7. He had straight hair, so if we had girls, maybe they wouldn't struggle with curly, frizzy hair like I did. Yes, this was an actual thought in my head, and we did have girls who should thank me to this day for my foresight. I think I loved Chris when I was 21. What exactly is love at that untested early age? Did I really know? Probably not. I know I did as we aged and struggled together. And yet still, that's a pretty good list. Our life as a couple was a solid one. We cruised along and hit a variety of speed bumps. Some we approached with caution so that the impact was minimal. Some we careened over at the wrong angle and it felt like we might just fall apart. But we didn't. We never let it spiral out of control and always came back to each other and to the long view. When it was all over, didn't we want to look back on what we'd created and not what we'd let go? And this is where luck and its variations come in again. Not from the perspective of our marriage per se, but from a more far-reaching vantage point. When we were dating and then newly married, we were so focused on us, the newness, the compatibility, the travel, the fun, the navigating of arguments, and then the diapers. Did I ever consciously factor in what kind of a father I thought he'd be? I don't think I did. My why I should marry him list augured well for this, but you never really know. Lucky us, our daughters hit the jackpot. You'll hear lots of stories from Kate. They're told in a far better way than I could ever muster, but here are a few snippets from my point of view. 1. Chris wasn't the biggest diaper changer and infant caregiver. I'll do better when they can talk. 2. Ryan or Kate often rode on his shoulders until it became impossible. What you don't see from the gorgeous stylized cover of this book is that the actual photo was taken on the rocky coast of Brittany, France, and that he carried a daughter in each arm. I know that those eyes and that smile are saying, my girls. 3. Drive time had to be filled with games he'd make up. A standard one during the holiday season had the girls taking the left or right side of the car and counting the Christmas lights on their side, the winner declared only once we'd pulled into the driveway. They would probably argue with me, but I swear this lasted into middle school. Another game that worked amazingly for a while.